The U.S. holds a census every 10 years, but the data collected isn't fully released to the public for 72 years, which means that last year the public got its first look at all of the data from the 1950 U.S. Census for the first time. Coming up on October 28th, Marathon County residents will have an opportunity to get a glimpse of it. Our own Jake Force has more. Jake?
Yeah, Jessica, it's the full access to the individual person-by-person data of the U.S. Census of the 1950s that the public now has had access to since April of last year. With that in mind, on October 28th, the Marathon County Historical Society will host a speaker that can help residents capture a glimpse into their family and their community history.
This is an important census because it's the very first census after World War II. And it was a very dynamic time in both the U.S. in general, but in Marathon County as well. You had so many servicemen that were coming back after the war.
Through nearly 30 years of interest and research, Scott Norick decided in 2021 to start his own genealogy company, Ancestral Past, to help others trace their family history. On October 28th, Norick will speak at the Marathon County Historical Society's History Speaks event to present the findings from his research of the 1950 U.S. Census, which was only fully released to the public last year. Norick, however, says there's a reason for the 72-year wait period.
By knowing that it's 72 years before someone else can look at that data, more likely they're going to answer it accurately, because there is income information in there, there's personal information, and so it's primarily for privacy issues.
Norick noticed Marathon County sharing a similar trend to his own hometown in southern Indiana, where much of the population only had an 8th grade education. He said the trend offers insight into why high school wasn't always an option for residents of small-town America.
In the smaller rural communities, oftentimes the schools just went up to 8th grade. It might have been a 20-mile commute just to get to a high school. And it particularly when so many of them worked on farms, there was a little more pressure once you hit a certain age that you were working full-time on the farm.
But Marathon County still had an exemplary economy. Norick says unemployment was lower than half the national average at a time when that average was at one of its lowest points in history. He added that the census paints a picture of how Marathon County came to be the place we know today.
Marathon County had quite a few large employers and had a very strong economic base. So I always enjoy learning about the companies that were there. And some of those that were large employers in 1950 are still large employers today.
A quadruple play to then have them start.
It will take place on Saturday, October 28th at 2 p.m. It's hosted by the Marathon County Historical Society, who will hold the event at their Woodson Historic Center on McIndoe Street in Wausau. For more information, you can visit ancestralpast.com as well as marathoncountyhistory.com. Jessica?